Hey weirdos, it is day 8 of Show Up Weird, and today's video is brought to you by Space Buns and 80s Bangs because it is stupid hot outside in Florida today. Today we are talking about travel stories, and I realized I have so many. Like so many. I used to travel a lot for work, and so I could tell you about the time that the airline lost my luggage on a flight to Alabama, and I had to make a run to Target, which closed at 6 p.m. in that part of Alabama, to literally buy everything head to toe, underwear, socks, shoes, the whole gamut, because I got on the plane wearing leggings and a ratty t-shirt and had to teach an all-day class the next day. It was very much emergency. I could also talk about the time that I was waiting off to the side to get my luggage on a business trip and realized there was a little bit of commotion around me, and I looked to my right and there's two very tall men standing next to me, and Reader's Digest version of that story is it was Scottie Pippen and another basketball player who were trying to avoid the crowd while they waited for their luggage. And I'm pretty sure I'm on about 20 strangers, not so subtle cell phone pictures, because I just happened to be standing next to Scottie Pippen at the airport. I could also talk about the time that I flew into LAX and decided to get a car and drive to Bakersfield because I thought, that's not too bad of a trip. Robin didn't realize there was a whole friggin' mountain range in between LAX and Bakersfield. And then my flight came in very late, and I made that drive at like 1 a.m. And not until I made the drive back to LAX 3 days later did I realize that I had driven on this crazy mountain range at like 1 o'clock in the morning. I've also taken a lot of trips with family, so I could talk about the wacky Midwest road trip we took a couple of summers ago to see crazy things like the Wisconsin Dells and the House on the Rock and the Minneapolis Sculpture Garden. And we specifically ended in Chicago so that we could see Wrigley Field and my son could get a custom skateboard made at some famous skate shop in Chicago. So we literally flew to the Midwest so that we could drive through the Midwest over the summer. My husband and I had the privilege to go to the Star Wars Hotel before it closed. It was a gift from some of his partners, and I could tell you all about how amazing the Star Wars Hotel was. I could tell you about the time I took a solo road trip to Savannah because I wanted to go hang out in graveyards, and I got the most amazing tour of Bonaventure Cemetery, and then I almost got locked in to the cemetery that's in the middle of downtown Savannah. I also travel a lot to see shows because I'm a live music nerd. And so I could tell you about this past February when I decided that it was a real good idea to choose Boston in February to see Jack White and drag my whole family along. And a snowstorm hit like 2 days before we arrived. And I'm pretty sure my family was this close to disowning me by the end of that trip. They were so cold. I could tell you about the Halloween show that Duran Duran did at Madison Square Garden in New York City past October. Or I could tell you about the time that my best friend and I flew to Denver to see Open Mike Eagle because he almost never comes to Florida. And I got to meet Open Mike Eagle and Video Dave and have dinner with them before the show. And Video Dave asked me what Miami was like in the 90s. And I realized that growing up in that part of Florida in the 90s was actually pretty freaking cool. So I have a million travel stories I could tell you. That's just a snapshot. You choose. Drop in the comments if any of those sounded particularly fascinating and you want to hear the whole story in detail. Let me know and I'll come back on here and I'll tell you all the crazy details, whether I should or not. So thank you, Travel Stories. I look forward to hearing your travel stories on Show Up Weird Day 8. And I'll see you back here tomorrow.